Hello children, welcome to AIMS India's online class. This is biology session. Life processes. So far we have completed 3-4 important life processes. So this particular video we are going to discuss about the questions which are repeated in the previous Olympiads from this particular heading, life processes. Before going to the questions, let us briefly recall the concepts which we have learnt. Okay, what is life process? The processes which help the organism to survive and perpetuate is called a life process. What is the basic life process, children? Photosynthesis, isn't it? Photosynthesis is the process by which all green plants produce their own food, that is in the form of glucose or starch in the chlorophyll containing cells by utilizing carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight. Okay, plants prepare their own food. That's why plants are called autotrophs. Auto means self, troph means nutrition. Photosynthesis occur in two phases. What are they? Light reaction and dark reaction. What is light reaction? Light reaction includes the trapping of solar energy by chlorophyll to utilize it in the splitting of water molecule, photolysis of water, in which hydrogen and oxygen and energy is produced in the form of ATP. What is dark reaction? It is a light independent reaction. It involves using the hydrogen through a series of chemical reactions to combine with the carbon dioxide and produce C6H12O6 glucose, isn't it? This is called a carbon fixation reaction. What is the source of energy for dark reaction? The ATP and NADPH2 which is formed in light reaction. The products of light reaction are utilized in the dark reaction as a source of energy. Okay, children, this is about the important concept of photosynthesis we have learned previously. Then we also completed some physiology parts. The circulatory system completed. The circulatory system consists of muscular heart, arteries, veins and capillaries. The many substances require transportation to and from various parts of the body, isn't it? What is the necessity of transport system? The digested food and absorbed food is needed to transport to each and every cell. The air which we breathe, the drawn in air and the oxygen picked up from it in the lungs has to be transported to each and every cell of the body. Similarly, the carbon dioxide which is produced in the cells has to be carried to the lungs to be thrown out of the body, isn't it? The nitrogenous waste from the body have to be carried to the kidneys to be excreted out of the body in the form of urine. The hormones secreted by the endocrine glands has to be carried to the target organs of the body. So that's why there is medium is required for this. In our body, what is that medium? Blood. Okay, blood, the tissue fluid and the lymph are the three main fluids in our body through which various substances are transported from one part of the body to the other. What is blood? Blood is a fluid connective tissue. A fluid part of blood is plasma and the cellular part or elemental parts are RBCs, WBC and platelets. Blood performs various functions like transportation of various substances and the protection of the body, isn't it? What is the function of platelets? Platelets help in the clotting or coagulation of the blood. This is the complex process involving many factors like vitamin K, calcium. Okay. The knowledge of the blood groups also very important in the blood transfusion. What are the main blood groups? A, B, AB and O. Which is the universal donor blood group? O group. Universal recipient? AB group. Okay, another group we are calling it as RH factor. If it is present, RH positive. If it is absent, RH negative groups. What about heart? Heart is the pumping organ. How many chambers are present in the human heart? 4 chambers. 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. Okay. Internally, the valves are present in the heart to prevent the backward flow of blood. The 3 types of blood vessels present in the circulatory system, what are they? Arteries, veins and the capillaries, isn't it? Next, what are the another life process? We come across excretory system, elimination of waste from the body. Excretion, what is excretion? Excretion is the removal of waste products, especially the nitrogenous wastes formed during the metabolic activities in the body. Okay, carbon dioxide and water are produced as a result of carbohydrate and fat metabolism. Ammonia, urea and uric acid are the nitrogenous wastes. They are produced during the protein metabolism. All the nitrogenous waste products are very toxic, isn't it, children? Or harmful. Toxic means harmful, and such should not be allowed in the body for a longer time. If they retain in the body, what happens? Their concentration increases. They become more poisonous. Okay, that's why they must be removed. The excess of carbon dioxide is removed through the lungs. The water becomes a part of the rest of the water in the body. And the nitrogenous wastes, ammonia, urea and uric acid are removed through the kidneys. Kidneys, what are the parts of the kidney? Kidneys, ureter, urinary bladder and urethra. They constitute the excretory system. In males it is called as urinogenital system. Generally we call it as urinary system. What are the functional unit of kidneys in the kidney? It is a nephron, also called renal tubule. Each nephron consisting of a Bowman's capsule containing glomerulus, collectively called Malpighian capsule or renal capsule. It also consists of proximal convoluted tubule, loops of Henle's loop, distal convoluted tubule and collecting duct. During urine formation in the nephron, 3 main processes occur. What are they? Ultrafiltration, selective reabsorption and tubular secretion. So normal human being urine consisting of how much percentage of water? 95% of water. Remaining 5% it include urea, uric acid, sodium chloride, potassium chloride and some other salts, isn't it? Yes. And very important life process, nervous system. The nervous system performs many functions. It keeps us informed. It enables us to remember, think and reason. It controls all voluntary and involuntary activities. What are the structural and functional units of nervous system? Neuron, nerve cell. Nerve cell is the structural and functional unit of nervous system. How many types of neurons are there? 3 types: sensory neurons, motor neurons and associated neurons. The nerve impulse travels through the neuron in the form of a wave of electrical disturbances. Nerve consisting of bundles of nerve fibers, they are called axons, enclosed in a tubular sheath. Nerves can be sensory nerves, motor nerves, and mixed nerves. Neurons are three types: sensory neurons, motor neurons, and associated neurons. Nerves are three types: sensory neurons, motor neurons, and mixed neurons. Isn't it? If you take brain or total nervous system is divided into how many parts? Three parts. A central nervous system, three divisions we can say. A central nervous system consisting of brain and spinal cord, peripheral nervous system which can be divided into somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Okay, these are the two main divisions of nervous system. The brain part of central nervous system, it consisting of cerebrum, cerebellum, and medulla oblongata. What is the function of cerebrum? It is the seat of memory, thought, reason. What is the function of cerebellum? It is concerned with maintaining the physical balance of the body. Medulla oblongata, what is its function? It controls the activities of internal organs. The spinal cord, which extends from the medulla and runs down almost the entire length of the backbone, it is concerned with what function? Reflex actions. Simply we can call it as reflexes, and the conduction of impulses from and to the brain. The somatic nervous system consisting of 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Somatic nervous system is also called peripheral nervous system. Okay. The autonomic nervous system controls the involuntary functions of the internal organs and consisting of a sympathetic nervous system which prepares the body for the action against abnormal conditions, and parasympathetic nervous system which re-establishes normal conditions. Okay, so I am revealing very fast, children. Listen carefully. Reflexes are of two types: neural reflexes and conditioned reflexes. And what are the five main sense organs present in our body? Eyes, ears, nose, skin, tongue. Okay, these are the five main sense organs: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. Okay, the eye is our visual organ. There are some eye defects. What are those eye defects? Myopia, and hypermetropia, cataract, night blindness. These are all the defects of eye. Okay. Beside hearing, what is another function of ear? Balancing. Okay. Balancing is also very, very important function. And another important coordination system, endocrine glands and endocrine system, the producers of chemical messengers. Endocrine glands pour their secretions directly into the blood, which carries them to their target organs. What are those chemicals? Hormones are the chemicals which regulate our physiological activities. So coordination in animals takes place in two ways. One is by nervous coordination, and second one is chemical coordination. Chemical coordination occurred by hormones. Okay. The endocrine glands secrete the hormones. Their over secretion and under secretion both may lead to serious consequences called disorders. Name some endocrine glands: thyroid gland, adrenal gland, pancreas, pituitary gland, testis, and ovary. So what is thyroid gland? Thyroid gland is present in the neck region. It secretes a hormone called thyroxine. What is the main function? Regulates metabolism in our body. Under secretion of thyroxine causes some diseases. What are they? Goiter, cretinism and mixed edema, while its over secretion, under secretion means hyposecretion, over secretion produces exophthalmic goiter. Simple goiter is under secretion, over secretion exophthalmic goiter, means eyeballs bulges out. Adrenal gland, its central or medulla part produces adrenaline. It is also called emergency hormone. It causes faster heartbeat, deeper breathing, constriction of arterioles, but more blood to the muscles and raises glucose in the blood. Its peripheral or cortex part of adrenal gland secretes cortisone, which regulates the reabsorption of salt and water, or osmotic balance it maintains. Pancreas is a mixed gland present in our body. It acts as both exocrine and endocrine. The endocrine part of pancreas is called islets of Langerhans, which secretes insulin. Okay, alpha cells and beta cells are present, which produce insulin and glucagon hormones. Insulin controls the blood sugar level, while glucagon breaks down glycogen to glucose and thus raises the blood sugar. Pituitary gland, it is called master gland of our body. It secretes many hormones like growth hormone, okay, which over secretion causes gigantism, hyposecretion causes dwarfism, and in adulthood it may causes over secretion acromegaly, gorilla face. Okay, tropic hormones also produced anterior lobe. They are thyroid stimulating hormone, stimulates the thyroid gland. Adrenocorticotropic hormone stimulates the adrenal gland, cortex of adrenal gland. Then gonadotropic hormone stimulates the testis and ovaries. Antidiuretic hormone, also called vasopressin, helps in increasing the reabsorption of water from kidney tubules. Deficiency or its hyposecretion leads to diabetes insipidus, secretion of over urine. Oxytocin from the posterior lobe of pituitary, it stimulates the uterus contraction during the childbirth. So that's why a feedback mechanism regulates the quantity of hormones released. Okay, this is the brief and fast reveal of the life processes. Okay, now let us discuss the questions which appeared from the life process chapter from in the Olympiad exams. Okay, let us proceed, children. Are you ready? Right. Level 1 question. The given figure is showing the pathway taken by a nerve impulse in a reflex action. Which part serve as a link between other neurons? So here a image is given showing the reflex arc. So which part serves as a link between the other neurons? Okay, here receptor cells, sensory neuron and associated neuron is there. So associated neuron, so it is the part Z which acts as a link between the other neurons. Okay, W and Y. So here the Z is D. Next, it is a relatively inactive and highly soluble sugar and constitutes about 90% of the total solute carried in the phloem. Identify it. What is that sugar? During the photosynthesis, after the formation of glucose, the glucose is a soluble. If it is not converted to insoluble form, it may be utilized in the leaf itself. So it has to be transported to the remaining parts of the plant. That is translocation of organic solutes. So that glucose is converted to sucrose, D. Next, Which of these is not a part of small intestine? Duodenum, jejunum, ileum, rectum. So, duodenum, jejunum and ileum are the parts of small intestine. Rectum is the part of large intestine. During contraction of the heart, what prevents the backward flow of blood? Thin walls of atria, thick walls of ventricles, valves in heart, all of the above. The valves in the heart, they act like doors, they prevent the backward flow of blood. Amoeba shows following kind of nutrition: autotrophic, holozoic, saprophytic or saprotrophic, the parasitic. So, it is the amoeba consumes solid particulate food. So, holozoic nutrition. The digestion takes place in the food vacuole. When air is blown from mouth into the test tube containing lime water, the lime water turned milky due to the presence of which gas? Oxygen, nitrogen, water vapor, carbon dioxide. It is the carbon dioxide which turns lime water milky. In which of the following group or groups of animals heart does not pump oxygenated blood to different parts of the body? Fishes only, means fish. Amphibians only, amphibians and reptiles, fishes and amphibians. So, in amphibians and reptiles, mixed blood is pumped to all parts of the body, means both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood mixed. Okay. So, in which of the following groups of animals heart does not pump oxygenated blood to different parts? So, it is the fishes only. So, its single circuit circulation is seen in the fishes. The body by which the process by which the blood is cleared of metabolic waste in case of kidney failure is called artificial kidney, dialysis, transplantation, filtration. That process is called as dialysis. Okay. Which of the following statements about the autotrophs is incorrect? They store carbohydrates in the form of starch. They constitute the first trophic level in the food chain. They convert carbon dioxide and water into carbohydrates in the absence of sunlight. They synthesize carbohydrates from carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. It is the third directly indicating in the absence of sunlight is mentioned, so that is wrong, incorrect statement. What happens when the left ventricle of the human heart contracts? Oxygenated blood is forced into the main artery. The deoxygenated blood is forced into the pulmonary artery. The deoxygenated blood is pumped into the lungs through pulmonary artery. The oxygenated blood go into different body organs through pulmonary vein. So, it is the oxygenated blood is forced into the main artery, that is called aorta. Okay. Left ventricle, always remember the right chambers are filled with deoxygenated blood and the left chambers are filled with oxygenated blood. So, when left ventricle contracts, the blood vessel arises from the left ventricle, that is aorta or systemic artery, which distribute the oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. This is the main this is the hormone which is produced by the pancreas and helps in regulating blood sugar levels. If it is not secreted in proper amounts, the sugar level in the blood rises. What is that hormone? Just now we have discussed. There are two main hormones produced by pancreas. What are they? Insulin and glucagon. So, it is the insulin, sugar controlling hormone. Okay. If this hormone is not secreted, blood sugar level will increase. So, match the phytohormones, means plant growth hormones, in column 1 with the role played by them in the column 2 and select the answers using the codes given below. So, first column 1, column 2 let us study. Column 1 auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acid and ethylene. These are all the plant growth substances or plant hormones. And in the column 2 functions are given: cell division, dormancy in seed, cell enlargement and differentiation, ripening of fruits, breaking of dormancy, seed dormancy. So, here, so let us match so that you can select the code. First, auxin. What is the function of auxin? Cell division and cell enlargement. Gibberellins. What is the function of gibberellins? Breaking of seed dormancy. Next, cytokinins. The main function is cytokinesis, cell division. Abscisic acid, it promotes the dormancy of a seed, and ethylene, it is main function is ripening of a fruit. So, here select the code. So, here the code representing B, A3, B5, C1, D2 and E4. Next, again same, match the following columns and select the correct option from the codes given below. In column 1 esophagus, alveoli, trachea, nephrons, and in column 2 air sacs, filtration unit, food pipe, windpipe. So, let us match first. Esophagus, it is also called food pipe. Alveoli, they are also called air sacs. Trachea, it is also called windpipe. Nephron, structure and functional unit of filtration. Okay. So, the correct code is A3, B1, C4 and D2. Some of the glands in our body have both exocrine and endocrine functions. So, mixed gland. Okay, what are they? These are pancreas, testis, ovary, all of these. Okay. So, here pancreas is correct. Testis is also performing two main functions, endocrine and exocrine, ovary also. So, option D, all of these. Next, tropism is the movement of a part of a plant in response to an external stimulus. The growth of pollen tube towards the ovule during the process of fertilization in a flower is an example of which kind of movement? Geotropic movement, hydrotropic movement, chemotropic movement and phototropic movement. It is some chemical which stimulate the movement of pollen tube, so it is called chemotropic movement, chemotropism. Okay. Geotropism means gravity, hydrotropism means water, phototropism means towards the light, and chemotropism means towards the chemicals. Next, woody plants carry gaseous exchange through root hairs, stem, lenticels, epidermal cells. So, usually the gaseous exchange takes place through the stomata of the leaves, but here especially woody plants. So, there are special structures are present in the stem called lenticels. The given figure shown holozoic nutrition in amoeba. Arrange the figure in a correct sequence so as to give complete steps of nutrition. Here A, B, C, D are given images. We have to arrange in correct order. Okay. So, the first which one come first? Let us number it so that you can easily arrange them. The first, it surrounds the food material, prey. It is number 1. Number 2 is it surrounds with pseudopodia, and next it form a food vacuole, that is A, and finally digestion takes place. Okay. So, D, C, B, A, D, C, A, B, D, C, A, B. Okay. C is the correct option. Following are the hormones of our body belonging to a common chemical group of steroid. Identify the odd one. Testosterone, corticosteroids, estrogens, prostaglandins. Following are the hormones of our body belonging to a common chemical group steroid, that is prostaglandins. Which of the following statements is the false about anaerobic respiration? It takes place in the microorganisms like yeast. It produces a considerable large amount of energy. It favors a partial breakdown of food. In animal muscles, lactic acid is the end product. So, here you have to select the wrong statement, false statement. So, the first statement is correct. It takes place in the microorganisms like yeast. Okay. Next, second statement, it produces considerable large amount, small amount of energy is produced. So, what is the equation for anaerobic respiration? C6H12O6 in the absence of oxygen gives rise to 2C2H5OH plus 2 CO2 plus 56 kilocalories of energy, very less. Okay. It favors partial breakdown of food. Yes, partial oxidation takes place, partial breakdown takes place, and animals like in animal muscles and lactic acid is formed. It is also anaerobic respiration. So, here is the correct wrong statement here is B statement. It produces a considerable large amount of energy. Only energy more produced during aerobic respiration. Next, in the given figure shows the excretory system of a human body. Which part of this system brings in the dirty blood into the kidneys? So, here mentioned PQRS, okay, which represent which bring the dirty blood, means impure blood. Okay. So, here the part R represent ureter and part S represent the urethra and the muscle controlling and the bladder and everything. So, in Q and P you have to select, they are represent the blood vessels. Okay. It is the P, renal artery, okay, which brings the impure blood and involves in the renal artery itself, enters into the kidney in the form of arteriole, efferent arteriole, and comes out in the form of efferent arteriole. Okay. It forms the glomerulus and helps in the filtration. Next, another matching type question. Match the column 1 with column 2 and select the correct option from the codes given below. In column 1, hormones are given. Column 2, organs are given. Calcitonin, glucagon, progesterone, corticoids, prolactin. These are the hormones. In column 2, pancreas, ovaries, adrenal glands, thyroid gland, pituitary gland, and parathyroid gland. Okay. So, you have to match first, then you can select the code. First A, calcitonin. It is produced by thyroxine, thyroid gland. Next, glucagon. It is produced by pancreas. Progesterone. It is produced by ovary. Ovary or pituitary? Ovary. Because progesterone is produced by the corpus luteum, okay, mature follicle. After releasing ovary, that corpus luteum produces the progesterone. Next, corticoids. Glucocorticoids and mineralocorticoids, they are produced by the cortex of adrenal gland. Next, prolactin. This is the hormone produced by pituitary. Okay. So now select the code. Okay, it is matching the code B, A4, B1, C3, C2, D3 and E5. In the given flow chart, a flow chart is given, shows one of the pathway of glucose breakdown. Identify P and Q. Glucose in the cytoplasm, P in the muscle cell, Q plus energy. So it is clearly representing the anaerobic respiration. So what are the products formed? You identify. The first one, glucose in the cytoplasm undergoes glycolysis and produce pyruvate. Okay, in the muscles, that pyruvic acid is converted to, okay, lactic acid, because muscle cells are mentioned, no, in the absence of oxygen. Okay. So here C is the correct option. It is a anaerobic respiration. Next, which of the following statements is not true about arteries? They carry blood away from the heart to various organs of the body. They possess valves to prevent the backflow of blood. They have thick and elastic walls. They carry oxygenated blood except in pulmonary artery. So here statement which is not true, you have to select. Okay, the statement 1, carry blood away from the heart, 100% correct. Possess walls, 100% wrong. They have thick and elastic walls, 100% correct. They carry oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. So here the wrong statement or not true statement is 2. Which of the following pairs is incorrectly matched? Saprotrophic nutrition, orchids, yeasts. Autotrophic nutrition, all green plants. Parasitic nutrition, cuscuta and plasmodium. Holozoic nutrition, grasshopper and amoeba. So here the first one, saprotrophic nutrition, orchids mentioned here, so it is wrong. The given figure, here figure is missing. The given figure is a demonstration of an experiment to show that carbon dioxide is essential for photosynthesis. So what is the substance X kept in the watch glass? Okay, here let us assume a potted plant is taken. Okay, here the potted plant, and so this potted plant, okay, so here the experiment to show that photosynthesis does not occur in the absence of carbon dioxide, or to show the importance of carbon dioxide. Okay, half-leaf experiment it is. Okay, so in this a test tube is arranged. Inside the test tube a liquid is used to observe the carbon dioxide which is present inside the test tube. What is that liquid? I have given a clue. though the image is not here, a rough image is given. So now identify what is that solution present inside the test tube. Potassium hydroxide, sodium carbonate, sodium bicarbonate, or potassium sulfate. So it is the alkali potassium hydroxide. The potassium hydroxide absorbs the carbon dioxide present inside the test tube and create an environment, CO2 free environment. Okay. Transpiration has been described as a necessary evil because it is inevitable but potentially harmful. Which of the following are the after effects of transpiration? Number 1, absorption of mineral salts. Number 2, regulation of plant temperature. Number 3, wilting and injury in plants. Number 4, ascent of sap. Okay. So all these are related to transpiration only. Without transpiration, none of these processes occur in the plants. That's why it is considered as necessary evil. Amoeba captures food with the help of teeth, cilia, pseudopodia, tentacles. It is pseudopodia with which they feed. What does X represent in the figure? Gap junction, synapse, interneural bridge, tight junction. So actually here it's very tightly, very close. It represents the tight junction. The filtration units of kidneys are called ureters, urethra, nephrons, neurons. It is the nephrons. Next, the trachea do not collapse. The trachea do not collapse. So in the previous question also wrongly mentioned what does the X represent? The X represent synapse. Actually there is a light gap is there here. So it is not tight junction, it is synapse. So this gap help in the correct or fast nerve transmission. Okay. Next, the filtration units nephrons. Next, the trachea do not collapse when there is not much air because they are thick and muscular, having cartilaginous rings, have walls supported by larynx. It is they possess C-shaped cartilaginous rings. So B is the correct option. Name the part of alimentary canal receiving bile from the liver. Esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. Esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine. Actually duodenum. Duodenum is a part of small intestine. So small intestine receiving the bile juice from the liver. Which of the following regions of the brain controls reflex movements of the head and neck? Head, neck and trunk in response to visual and auditory stimuli. Forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. Forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain. It is the midbrain which receives the impulses. Next, which of the following blood vessels contain only deoxygenated blood? Pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery, capillaries, aorta. It is the pulmonary artery which contain deoxygenated blood carried by pulmonary artery from right ventricle to lungs for oxygenation. This is a narrow muscular tube lined by stratified squamous epithelium containing mucous glands. In humans, it is about 25 centimeter long and quickly conveys food and fluids by peristalsis from pharynx to the stomach. Identified. Very simple. Peristalsis means immediately food pipe. Okay, here alimentary canal, ileum, duodenum and esophagus is given. So esophagus is also called food pipe. It is. The autotrophic mode of nutrition requires chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water, all of the above. So autotrophic nutrition, photosynthesis requires all: chlorophyll, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water. So you are asked to label the pons varoli, cerebellum and medulla in the given figure. Which would you choose to mark all the three? Okay, P, Q, R, S, T. And hypothalamus and pituitary gland are already labeled. So which part represent all the three? Pons varoli, cerebellum, medulla oblongata. Okay, which part? It is the R, represent all the three. Simple. Which of the following is the most appropriate for aerobic respiration? Here the equations are given. You have to select the most appropriate one. Glucose, the mitochondria forms the pyruvate. The cytoplasm produces carbon dioxide, water and energy. Glucose, pyruvate in the cytoplasm. In the mitochondria, carbon dioxide, water and energy. Glucose in the cytoplasm converts to pyruvate, and in the presence of energy in the mitochondria produce carbon dioxide and water. Glucose converted to pyruvate in the cytoplasm, the presence of energy mitochondria, carbon dioxide and water. Which one is the correct representing the aerobic respiration? Okay, it is first the glycolysis, then only the energy is produced. Okay, this represent glucose in the cytoplasm converted to pyruvate. Okay, then in the mitochondria produce carbon dioxide and water and energy. Okay, this is the aerobic respiration. Given below the events of photosynthesis, identify which of the following is or not correct. Absorption of light energy by chlorophyll, conversion of light energy to chemical energy and splitting of carbon dioxide into carbohydrates and oxygen, reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates, conversion of chemical energy to radiant energy and splitting of water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. Which of the following events of photosynthesis? Identify which are not correct. Okay, so here the first statement is correct. The second statement, conversion of light energy to chemical energy and splitting of carbon dioxide is mentioned, so it is wrong. Next, third one, reduction of carbon dioxide, okay, it is correct. And next, fourth one, conversion of chemical energy to radiant energy, wrong. Radiant energy is converted to chemical energy. Okay, so option D. Okay. Next, inspiration or breathing in. Inspiration or breathing in is an active process. Which of the following events are related to this process? Lifting up of rib cage and contraction of diaphragm, lifting up of rib cage and relaxation of diaphragm, dropping rib cage and relaxation of diaphragm, dropping rib cage and contraction of diaphragm. Which is correct? Yes, lifting up of rib cage and contraction of diaphragm will reduce the internal air pressure, air rushes inside. Okay. Yes, the last question of the day. The sensitive plant Mimosa pudica, as in the figure, touch me not, okay, touch me not plant, shows seismonastic movement, as a result of which the whole leaf drops down. The dropping is due to leaves fold up, on touching with fingers it drops down. What is the reason for it? Loss of turgidity of the basal part of the leaf, swelling of the basal part of the leaf, change in the direction of the leaf growth, none of the above. It is the loss of turgidity. Okay, the loss of turgidity of the basal part of the leaf, they drop down. Okay, okay children, all the best for the exam. So please visit our website www.aimstoday.in for other information regarding online classes, quizzes, live worksheets, activities, English classes, coding, etc. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.